An artificial island, one of many, built on the inshore reef of Malaita. This precarious mound of coral is Auki Island, home to a few dozen people. Tens of thousands of people live like this across the province.
This island was built to stay, because our forefathers were from the bush, then come down and stay in the island. So they built the island here to stay in the island.
Some theories suggest the people were refugees, fleeing mainland ethnic fighting or headhunting raids. Today they still shore up the walls, but their battle now is against the sea. Thousands of people live on these tiny artificial islands in Lungalunga Lagoon in Malaita. They've done so for hundreds of years, but now with rising sea levels, it's expected they'll soon have to relocate. Sea levels in the Solomons are rising about 8 millimetres a year, says Australia's Pacific Climate Change Science Program. That's almost 3 times the global average.
Those islands are greatly affected because salt water come right up in the middle of an island, so it affects the root crops. So that is one of the major problems that they've encountered.
Locals say sea temperature rises have driven away the fish, their main source of protein. The islanders wonder where they can go.
The land use issue is so controversial and complicated because traditionally the land are customary lands, land owned by local people.
Land disputes sparked a brutal 5-year ethnic conflict here that ended in 2003. The national government is still working on a plan.
Obviously, there's going to be a very, very open discussion with the communities, and then it will need to have a lot of rethinking, some creative ideas and engagement with all the parties concerned.
The World Bank suggests resettling people in urban centres where they're close to public services. In the Solomons, that's the capital, Honiara.
Another way of looking at it is there's a lot of issues that needs to be resolved in the urban centres now, rather than adding extra pressure to the existing ones we have already.
Organisations like the local Red Cross, funded largely with Australian aid money, are preparing for the long haul.
Adoption is the way to go now. That is because I think for relocation we still have it's still a long process before we achieve proper relocation for our coastal communities.
Time has already run out for some islands, and others are being given at most a couple of decades before they become uninhabitable. In the Solomons and elsewhere in the Pacific, it could leave thousands of people displaced, looking for a new home. In Malaita, Stefan Armbruster, World News Australia.